Action cameras and gimbal cameras started out as extremely niche products. When the first generation Go launched in 2019, it was hard to justify spending roughly the price of a smartphone on a device that, aside from being compact and convenient, didn't really offer a clear advantage over using your phone to record. By 2025, DJI had essentially answered that question with its 10-megapixel camera. The idea was simple. If recording on the go is convenient and effortless enough, it can eventually become something people genuinely need. And this change wasn't driven by better products alone. Timing also played a major role. In the post-mask era, documenting everyday life and simply enjoying the moment on camera had become increasingly mainstream. At the same time, social platforms have continued to evolve their recommendation algorithms, creating a constant loop between making content, having it pushed to viewers, and watching even more content. Wherever there's demand, manufacturers will eventually follow. Honor's response to this emerging category is the robot phone. It's part smartphone and part gimbal camera, but it takes the idea much further than simply combining the two.
A quick shout out to my tech partner from China for sharing this video. A big thank you for making this possible. Hey everyone, it's Maiky from techmaiky. If you love staying updated with the latest gadgets, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss out our exciting tech content.
From a marketing and promotional perspective, the appeal of this product is fairly straightforward. It's a new type of device, but one that still feels familiar enough to immediately attract attention. Looking at it purely as a product, though, the reasoning becomes even more interesting. As one of Honor's core product lines, turning a smartphone into a gimbal camera makes a lot of sense. It eliminates the complicated physical structure of a traditional gimbal camera while giving Honor the advantages of smartphone-level interaction and powerful computational photography and video processing. But the robot phone's biggest selling point, or more accurately its defining feature, is obviously the gimbal camera. It uses a 1.1-inch 200-megapixel CMOS sensor with 0.6 micron pixels. If you're familiar with smartphone cameras, that specification may sound familiar because this type of sensor is commonly associated with telephoto cameras. So let's break down why Honor went with this particular CMOS. The first reason comes down to the physical size of the gimbal camera. Unlike a camera module that's simply integrated into the smartphone body, a gimbal camera needs additional housing and mechanical components, which take up considerably more space around the camera. Going with an even larger CMOS sensor would therefore introduce more engineering challenges and risks. The second advantage is the 200-megapixel resolution. It provides strong image quality while using in-sensor zoom, or ISZ. For a gimbal camera, being able to deliver useful 2x and 4x zoom without sacrificing too much quality can make a major difference to how practical the camera is in everyday shooting. We won't get too deep into the specifications here. As the first manufacturer stepping into this category, the more important question is how well Honor has actually executed the concept. In terms of functionality, the core features include 8 smooth movement modes, FPV lock, and different gimbal modes, including controls such as the zoom wheel. These are exactly the kinds of functions you'd expect people to want from a product like this. And when it comes to real-world performance, especially the mechanical performance of the gimbal itself, there aren't any major weaknesses that stand out. The gimbal's positioning is genuinely impressive, stabilization is very solid, and it opens up plenty of interesting shooting techniques. There is one small issue with the current software version. The gimbal's response can feel slightly slow. Instead of immediately reacting to your movement, it seems to wait until it detects that movement before making the adjustment. This doesn't really hurt the final image quality, but it can create a slight sense of visual discomfort while you're using it. If the problem is mainly related to sensor sensitivity, there's a good chance Honor could improve this behavior through a future software update. When we talk about smartphone cameras, our attention usually goes toward photography. Whether we're talking about Leica, Zeiss, or Hasselblad, these partnerships are generally associated with image quality and still photography. But with a gimbal-focused phone like this, Honor naturally had to emphasize video. And for that direction, working with ARRI was arguably the most logical choice. ARRI is a century-old name in the film industry and has helped establish many of the standards used in professional filmmaking. Its reputation and industry value are already well established. For Honor, simply highlighting that connection is enough to generate a significant amount of attention. There's also a practical benefit. ARRI's camera hardware is designed around strong expandability and ease of use, something a conventional smartphone can't really reproduce. But another important part of the partnership is similar to what we see with Hasselblad and its color science. Honor can take advantage of ARRI's expertise in color and cinematic imaging. The robot phone uses ARRI's Log C3 to improve color information and highlight performance. And because ARRI has evolved from the traditional film era into the digital filmmaking world, it brings along something particularly valuable: the distinctive character and style associated with its famous LUTs, or color looks. The result is a much more cinematic appearance, and importantly, you can preview that look in real time while you're recording. There is, however, one limitation. Those LUTs can't be directly applied when you're simply viewing the footage in the phone's gallery. Instead, the gallery only tells you that a LUT is currently being used. If you want to see how the footage looks with a different LUT, you have to open AI editing in the gallery and select another LUT from there. You can still review the footage, of course, but imagine capturing a fantastic video using this unique interface, only to open the gallery later and see a flat, gray-looking image when you want to show it to your friends. That instantly takes away some of the emotional impact of the experience. Hopefully, Honor can address this in a future update. Ideally, there could just be a button next to the footage that lets you choose which LUT you want to preview directly. When I first heard that Honor was developing a product like this, I honestly couldn't picture how they would make it look natural. I wondered if it would end up feeling strange or overly futuristic, almost like carrying around a Vision Pro. But after actually seeing it, I have to say, the design is surprisingly stylish.
The exterior uses a very thin, smooth cover that hides an impressively small and refined gimbal mechanism underneath. Combined with the Star Trail silver finish, the whole phone has a really strong metallic presence. But what surprised me most was Honor's decision to make the phone thicker while actually making its overall footprint smaller. Once I held it in my hand, the reasoning became much clearer. One benefit of this approach is that the camera protrusion feels much more natural, and honestly, you probably wouldn't want to deal with an overly large camera bump on a device like this. One of the biggest selling points of these pocket-sized cameras is the shooting experience itself. Obviously, a smartphone can't simply be designed in the same shape, so making the body smaller helps improve one-handed shooting comfort while also minimizing the impact of the device's weight during everyday use. At first glance, you might think the robot phone gave up a lot just to squeeze a gimbal into the body, almost like making the whole device more complicated for the sake of one feature. But after using it, those compromises actually feel fairly small compared with what this design could bring to the entire gimbal camera category. Recently, many of you probably saw the comparison video between two popular gimbal cameras. Watching those devices made me realize that a huge part of their appeal comes from just how compact they are. Trying to fit everything users want into a 2.0-inch display and its surrounding body is already challenging. And when you're competing directly with other products in the same category, you also have to think about heat management, controls, battery life, and expandability. For a smartphone, though, many of these challenges simply aren't problems anymore, because the phone already has all of these systems built in. The audio quality of the robot phone is also surprisingly good. In many situations, you probably won't even need to connect an external microphone. The phone also comes with a built-in AR film, while the 6.3-inch display with a peak brightness of 6800 nits is honestly something of a luxury for a gimbal camera. Whether you're using it as a shooting monitor, reviewing your footage, or simply navigating the interface, the experience is excellent. But I do want to make one small side note here. There is still a noticeable gap between what this concept can potentially achieve and what it currently delivers. For example, the shooting interface could be made more refined. It would be useful if the button layout could be customized depending on whether you're shooting left-handed or right-handed, and adding more physical or haptic feedback when moving the lever could also make the interaction feel much more satisfying and tangible. Another huge benefit of making this a smartphone is the seamless workflow after you finish shooting. Your footage is already on the phone, so you can immediately store it, edit it, and share it without having to transfer files between separate devices. Looking at it from this perspective, the robot phone's unusual form factor isn't really a shortcut. What we're experiencing right now is more like an early version of the concept.
A lot of these small details can be improved through software, which means the overall experience has plenty of room to become even better. And Honor calling this device the robot phone isn't simply about its physical design. There's another area Honor has been investing heavily in, and that's AI. The phone can even handle tasks such as ordering a cup of coffee. The idea is to demonstrate that Honor's AI can go beyond simple commands and actually handle more complicated tasks. And honestly, that kind of scenario feels quite close to everyday life. I haven't personally reached the point where I need AI to handle something that complicated, but I have to admit, it's still impressive to see. For things like scheduling, creating memos, and setting reminders at work, those are already fairly basic AI functions. And if we look more specifically at skills, which were everywhere not that long ago, Honor has those capabilities as well. You might think some of these features are already old news, but we shouldn't forget that this is a consumer product. Public familiarity is still the foundation. You can't really deny that these features can make everyday tasks more efficient while also adding a certain emotional value for a lot of people. Otherwise, how do you think Douba became so popular? And if you think simple, cold, text-based AI isn't enough to create that emotional connection, Honor takes the idea even further by using the gimbal camera to create a physically integrated Nomi. And this brings us to the latest part of the experience. You can actually talk with Nomi, use it as an assistant to complete tasks within its capabilities, and even make it dance. Honor has also created several performance packs specifically for it, with the entire concept centered around companionship. Don't immediately ask what the practical purpose is. Instead, ask future car owners how often they talk to Nomi every day. Look at the huge number of AI-powered robots being sold on Taobao, or simply try using one yourself. If you wave something like this in front of someone who isn't a technology enthusiast, there's a very good chance they'll immediately find it interesting. And I don't think we need to spend too much time arguing about whether today's AI applications are still immature or whether some of them aren't serious enough. Technology doesn't always have to be presented in a cold and technical way. Making technology feel more human, helping more people understand it, accept it, and eventually even enjoy using it is always a positive direction. So we've talked about the robot side, and we've talked about the phone side, but what does the robot phone actually represent? I think it's fair to look at it as a fascinating break from the increasingly homogeneous smartphone market. If you still feel that this isn't as practical as simply carrying a phone together with a separate gimbal camera, that's completely understandable. But for Honor, this product could represent much more. It could be a completely new direction for smartphone imaging, a new battlefield for gimbal cameras in the era of computational photography, or even a demonstration of what the AIOS era could eventually look like. By bringing all of these technologies and ideas together, the robot phone might just become the beginning of Honor's next product era. And with that, we've reached the end of today's video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!